Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I welcome you back to the Advance Wars DS Hard Campaign Randomized Skills and COs playthrough. We are in the end game. It is time for Mission 20, Dark Ambition. There are only 5 more maps after Dark Ambition, so I say let's not delay any further. Black Hole has launched a counter-invasion, which you can see by the fact that they have a lot of units that are mysteriously behind a pipe wall for some reason. I will never understand Advance Wars DS's map design when it comes to interacting with the narrative, because, like, a couple missions ago there was that thing with the aircraft carriers and the pipes. Now we've got Black Hole suddenly launching another invasion and all of their units are behind a pipe wall for some reason. I don't know. So, I've already messed up this mission one time. I unfortunately don't have any fail footage for you. Like, it was just the most generic failure ever, so whatever. These are the COs I have rolled. There are some interesting pairs here. We've got Von Bolt paired with Hawk, who betrayed Sturm in the previous Advance Wars. And we've also got Adder and Andy, again. And we've got Kanbei and Kindle, again. Like, as I said, I rolled all of this off screen and then recorded it so that I could use it when this mission came up. But I just keep rolling the same COs over and over again. It's really unfortunate. So that's the COs we're going with. I will show you their skills briefly as we enter the mission proper. So this is going to be the first map with a clone CO. We are up against a clone of Olaf, which is good for them, I suppose, because we are in snow, which means all of our units are going to have doubled fuel costs, and theirs won't. So that's interesting. Here are the skills for the COs. I'll just show all of them briefly. And this just takes so much less time than having to actually roll all of them on screen and decide them on the fly. Adder's got Soul of Hachi and Rain Dance, which will cause rain during his powers. So that'll be an interesting thing to use. I figured the Fog of War would help out, like if I want to hide or something, because this mission is actually not to be taken lightly. They've got a Black Bomb, they've got a lot of powerful units, and if they break through this pipe seam, then it's going to be very troublesome for you. And if you try to break through the pipe yourself, these mini cannons, they're actually pretty good at reducing your HP a little as you go. Like for these 2 pipes on either end here, they are actually in range of the mini cannon. So my mistake in my previous attempt was accidentally getting too close to them. The mini cannons, that is. So, red team doesn't really have a lot to work with. Let's fire at... I don't want to fire at the anti-air because that'll free up the space for another unit to attack. So I'm going to target the medium tank first. And this is basically what it's going to look like for red. Not a lot they can do. They don't have a lot of units. In fact, on normal mode, all they have is a mech and an infantry for combat. Obviously not very useful. Now, as for blue team, they have themselves a stealth fighter, which is going to be interesting, I must say. Because one of the strategies you can employ is to actually block one of the broken pipes completely with a stealth fighter, which is kind of cheap, but kind of smart also. Right, so there's a medium tank outside of the pipe on either side of the map. It doesn't really do a whole lot. And any fuel concerns you might have had are kind of lost by the fact that you have so many APC units that the enemy does not target. And on green team, we've got Kanbei mega tanks, so those are going to be defensive powerhouses. We've also got a Kanbei battleship, which is nice too. But you want to be careful with the enemy's power meters, because like dual strikes are still obviously very tough to deal with. But in this map, there's actually, I don't think there are actually that many units that to where you could actually fill up the power meter, because, or at least both power meters, because you would actually need a lot of combat for that. And we're getting into the part of the game where the enemy has so many units that they're going to get their dual strikes, but you aren't. Your teams are all split up. So that's one of the ways they try to make it harder, and I would say that Dark Ambition is actually, well, a little bit harder than Crystal Calamity, at least. I did mess it up one time. That's totally on me for not knowing how the mission is played. Destroying this anti-air caused the enemy to be able to attack it with a medium tank and break through it far quicker. And speaking of which, the enemy also has a lot of indirects on hard mode. They're going to be setting those up to try and break through the pipes. So I guess, you know, they're gonna break through anyways. Might as well destroy the anti-air now so our air units don't have to worry about anything. And yeah, go ahead and reduce that tank to 1 health as well. A shame there's not really any way to destroy the black bomb before it explodes. Like, I don't see how you're gonna get to it before it explodes here. There's not even that many enemy air units. Like, they don't actually have anything for dealing with a stealth fighter. They don't have a fighter of their own, so your stealth is basically completely safe. It's kind of silly. You'd think they would start responding to, well, what their enemies are using. Now, speaking of which, I should launch this silo. There are some missile silos, which is going to make this a lot easier to deal with. I'm going to fire it at this position because it will get the strongest units. The rockets, the mega tank, the neo tank. Like, I could have damaged a lot more with it, but I'm just going to leave it at that. So there is a way to stop the snow. You have to capture this black hole city and this black hole city. That will stop the snow. I don't really know why they're controlling the weather with cities outside of the pipe wall. This pipe wall just doesn't make any sense. Anyways. Oh, it's blue team's turn, yeah. So what we should do here is I'm going to first blow up this infantry so that I can actually capture the thing. I guess I'll... No, actually, I don't want to do that. I'm going to use the bomber on this thing. And then have an artillery here. And we should probably do something to, like, block the holes that are going to open up eventually. So the snow does make it difficult for your stealth fighter, because as long as it stays hidden, it's going to burn a lot more fuel. More so even with the snow in play. But you've got APCs and they refuel anything, so it's not really that much of a threat. So I'm worried about what that black bomb might try, because they're gonna get at least a few units through here, especially since I've been charging their CO powers the entire time, and it does take a while for green to actually get into the fray. They're probably going to be your most valuable team, especially if Kanbei is running them. So this is all I can really do. Let's see what happens. Yeah, as if the dual strike wasn't enough, now they're going to break through the pipe and probably do some more damage. Alright, so that was actually good. The black bomb was distracted and went after the aircraft carrier and the bomber. So that was a very good way to... The black bomb on the previous attempt did a lot more damage, and that was probably a contributing factor to why I lost so horribly. Like, I didn't lose per se, I was down to just the stealth fighter with blue team, but... it would have taken, like, dozens upon dozens of more turns just firing at units with a stealth fighter that they can't destroy. And protecting the APCs, because if you lose those, then you've basically lost the stealth fighter. So, like, I made the decision to just yield and try again. I'm thinking of you guys. How nice. You don't have to watch me go through all of that tedious process of destroying everything with a stealth unit. Alright, so that's silo number 2 launched. That's basically all red team is good for. Kind of ironic that I rolled a boss CO on a team that's not really, like, doing a whole lot. Because what, they've got a rocket and they've got an anti-air. That's basically the crux of their power. But the mega tank is destroyed, so that's a very good step in the right direction. I guess this anti-air will have to sit back and not do much. Try and hit something with a missile. The missile's never going to hit anything. Okay, so now it's time to start blocking off the pipe. So I will move the stealth here, and I guess destroying it isn't that big a deal. Well, they'll still waste several attacking turns destroying it, so I'll keep it there. And blow this up. They were kind enough to reduce it to 1 HP with a black bomb. That's nice. They don't have any missiles or fighters, so I guess the copter going here is a good idea. And the rocket is still going to be slowly inching forward, but it'll get there eventually. Not going to move the APCs closer because they might get hit by the indirects. Alright, so let's check on the enemy power meter. Kindle's got just 1 star until she gets her dual strike. Which probably means I don't want to shoot at anything beyond this point. So let's situate the Neo Tank here so that it can defend. And then on the next turn I will go hog wild and just destroy everything I can. Because without Sasha, like if I had Sasha, this would be so much easier because I could reduce the enemy's power meter. But I didn't roll her, so them's the breaks. And this APC is completely trapped. It cannot unload its cargo because it's completely surrounded and it can't do anything. That seems almost mean. Okay. So, they've broken through, and they destroyed the copter, so it looks like they're gonna break through a little bit here. Yeah, we're gonna take some damage, but not a whole lot. And they've definitely got a dual strike on the next turn, so this is good. I can get rid of as many of them as possible in this turn, and then destroy them all in the next. And it looks like Red is actually going to do something helpful for a change. Well, not a whole lot. If I had gotten luckier, then that would have been 3 units destroyed instead of just 2, but them's the breaks. Yeah, I've actually, someone was actually telling me about how the scoring for this mission works, and they told me that Red has to destroy a unit or 2 in order to get anything for power. I'm not sure if that's actually true, because it doesn't sound very, like, it doesn't sound like something they would do, basically. Like, Red has so few units that it doesn't seem like it would make much sense for them to have to destroy something in order to get power. But, you know, I guess we'll see. I actually don't really know a whole lot about how the scoring for this mission works, so Red has destroyed 2 units. I don't think that's enough for 100 power, in fact. So let's check. Well, 2 is probably... I think you would need 3, actually. They started with 29 units, so I think you would need 3 units destroyed. So I guess we'll see. If we end up with like 80 or 90 power, then that will be a sign that that is in fact how the mission works, and it is in fact a silly thing. Because I destroyed 1 unit with green team just now. 2 units with green team, 3 units with green team, and should I do the artillery? I guess so. Like 4 units with green team. And I know I pushed in really far. The mini cannon is going to be able to fire at one of these units, but that's okay. It was important to me to just get rid of as many enemy units as possible so that the dual strike doesn't mean as much. And it's still going to do quite a lot of damage because it's an Olaf dual strike, so all of our units are taking 2 damage. But Kindle shouldn't really be able to do much. She doesn't have a lot of cities to fuel her super. So that's a thing. Well, here they come. Evil Santa Claus and Marie Antoinette. I don't know. You know, Kindle does seem like the kind of person who would say the infamous "not Marie Antoinette" quote. Anyways. Gonna lose a couple of units here. But yeah, that wasn't very effective. So I played it correctly this time, unlike last time where they just destroyed everything in their path and I lost a lot of units at once. Alright, so first get rid of this. Might as well destroy the... Well, I could have tried to destroy the Neo Tank, but that didn't happen. And unfortunately, Red has now blocked the thing. And now Green can't get in there, but that's okay. The mini cannon would have hurt them anyways. So I will go ahead and fire at this group. Stops them from repairing. Well, at least stalls them for a little bit. Blue team's turn. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, this looks okay. 1 HP. I got a little unlucky again. But they have almost no anti-airs left. Well, they got 2, but they're at like 7 HP. Not a lot they could do, really. Alright, so with Kanbei, I guess I can only really fire at this recon. And go back for repairs. Isn't it crazy how they give you, like, cities for repairing units? You don't have all that much money at all, so you're really not going to be able to repair a whole lot. Alright, that's all they can do. And it looks like they're retreating for cities as well. So we better stop them. You go up here. And luckily that mech avoided the max damage, so it will be able to capture the city and stop the snow. Not that that matters much. It does take away a power boost that Olaf gets, because he gets more power in snow. That's not really a well-known thing, because it's not how he worked in the previous game, and, like, no other CO really does that, except for Drake and Rain. Alright, so I am kind of pushing inwards a little bit, but this should lure the enemy in closer. Megatank's gonna take some damage from the cannon, that's fine, we have plenty of other units. And, we might have a green team dual strike. If I switch to Kindle, we might have it sooner, but I don't know for sure. Alright, just one more turn until the... There are also comm towers on this map. I have no idea why they're there. They're only useful to red team because they're the only ones with infantry units for capturing them. So, there's really no reason for them to be there. Also, I just noticed that Von Bolt Hawk is probably the most expensive tag break in the game. Just because of how big their CO meters are. They're like 19 stars total. Alright, so Adder could fire his super at this point. Would it even be helpful? Because you'd have like one vision fog of war going. Actually, I think that's what I'll do, but I'm gonna attack with this tank first. Because what that's gonna do is when I actually activate the super, then I will actually be able to see the enemy units. There we go. Then I can destroy it. I can finish it off with the stealth. Move so I can see the other units. And totally trap this artillery, by the way. That's funny. And I think I will just activate the Kanbei super so that I have more defense. Because I don't know who's going to attack. I can't see any enemy units. And I guess the next thing to do would probably be to send an infantry up to this HQ. Like, I don't imagine I'll capture it. I'll probably have everything routed by then. Alright, I'm back. Where were we? We were destroying things, yes. 60 with a 3 HP Neo-Tank. That's actually very impressive. Alright. Guess I'll switch to Kindle and use Urban Blight, because I imagine they're going to go for repairs, but they'll be in for a surprise. Oh yeah, Kindle's using her plus 40 on cities to do some damage there. But they couldn't do a whole lot, so, Yeah, I guess I'm still gonna capture this comm tower, even though it doesn't really amount to much. Oh, and this will shut off the snow. But it's not snowing at the moment, so that will actually change the weather back to normal. That's very interesting. It shut off the rain prematurely because it's not supposed to change back until Adder's turn comes up again. So I guess you could do that in the vanilla game if you were playing as Drake in this mission. It's all very curious. Right, get rid of you. Is this all they have left? That's really all they have left. I think we've won this on Green's next turn. I guess I'll go for the Urban Blight. Just to make sure that I have this in the bag. Oh yeah, I definitely have this in the bag. 40 with a Mega Tank. That's at 2 health. It's gonna take one more turn, I suppose, but I think we've won this. I mean, there's no time limit or anything. It still only took like 9 turns. Can you imagine if they got a dual strike while they only had like 1 unit left? That would be so weird. Alright, so red can't do anything. And boom, it's over. Dark Ambition completed in 9 turns. Let's see what the score was. 68 power. Alright, so maybe red does have to destroy units for power, but that's definitely not how it worked on normal mode, so that's really weird. Why would they make an exception just for normal mode? Is it like just because there's only 2 foot soldiers that can be used to damage stuff on normal and then on hard? I don't know. So I think we might have time for another mission. It depends on what the next mission is. It might be either Ring of Fire or Pincer Strike, and it is Pincer Strike, of course. So I'm going to like scout out the next mission and see if it's completable within that time frame. Like, I'm gonna spoil it right now, I did not roll Sammy for Pincer Strike, and if I had rolled Sammy, then I would have been able to pull off the infamous strategy for this mission. Because this mission, it's possible to complete it in 3 turns if you have Sammy and another really cheap CO, like a cheap as in a low-cost power. Because you could use a dual strike to get an infantry over this mountain and then just swoop in for this capture. But, actually, I said 3 turns, but it has actually been lowered to 2 turns very recently. Someone found a 2-turn strategy. That's impressive. Alright, so we're up against a clone of Drake, which is going to be even worse. We're going to have Rain, we're going to have Fog of War, we're going to have all sorts of fun stuff. So here are what the COs are going to be. For Orange Star, we have Sonya and Sammy. I did roll Sammy? No, but I rolled her on the wrong team! Oh my goodness, I want to show off the strategy now, but she's been rolled on the wrong team. Ah. But Sonya and Sammy is a very good combination. They've got some compatibility stars. Sonya's got the extra vision, and Sammy's going to be able to do a lot of capturing. So, what are there? Sonya has no penalties. So, let's give her... She definitely wants defense. And we could also power up Sammy with additional skills like this. We don't really need star power, but I will take a forest bonus because there's going to be a lot of hiding in forests. Sammy has to take 3 penalties. So this will be fun. Levels 2, 3, and 6. She'll take indirect defense, classic APC. I don't know, is that referring to the Advanced Wars 1 APC thing? Where they're just like attracted to the things like magnets? And she does get 1 buff. Level 6. 6 is where all the capturing skills are. Well, there you go. And on the blue team we have... Who do we have? Jess and Nell. Interesting. Here's Nell, and here's Jess. There's a lot of vehicles on the blue team, so that's alright. For skills, they get... Oh, wait, which one is... Yeah, Nell gets 1 penalty, and Jess has to take 3. Alright, so we'll give her the indirect defense penalty, and 6, 7, and 8 she gets. So more vision. That's going to be nice. Because fog is eventually going to come in, and extra vision in Fog of War is actually really good for Rain, because Rain reduces your Fog of War vision normally. So this is good for her. I think I will lead with Nell. Jess has to take 3 penalties, so all the more reason to lead with Nell. This, and there's not a lot of cities, so this too. Alright, so that looks good. I think I'm going to go with that. And there's only 2 teams, so I could write everything down on the screen, but I don't think I'm going to. Alright, so it's time to play Pincer Strike, and because Sammy got rolled onto the wrong team, I have to actually play it normally, instead of using the cheese strategy. We've got a Sammy Sonya tag break ready. You can't hide from me! Girl power. Well, these two were the only female COs in Advance Wars 1 besides Nell, so... that's fairly sensible. Oh, there's an anti-air there. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. We have to, Alright, so as long as I don't get ambushed, I think I'm okay. I got ambushed, and I am therefore not okay. Okay, that's a failure. Okay, this is gonna be take 3 of Pincer Strike, because, as it turns out that if you don't have the broken Sammy Sonya strategy on the blue team, this is actually a lot harder than it looks. So this might be a painful mission. I might have to actually try it multiple times. So yes, the game did in fact get a little bit more difficult after dealing with Crystal Calamity. Alright, so I've tried 2 times to get a lander up to these forests, because I was thinking that I could use a dual strike tag break to get through to the HQ and capture it, because I am using Sammy and Sonya on red team at least. This has proven to be not as easy as it looks. So yeah, and the last time I tried this I also made a terrible decision with the battlecopters, so this time around I'm going to hopefully not make terrible decisions. So let's set up for our little journey. And since the game is getting a little bit harder, I'm probably going to not be talking as much because I'm going to be thinking. I really do not like what they did with Blue Team for this map, because Blue Team has to slog through a bunch of force, and when the Fog of War comes up, they're going to be hidden, but it's still, like, you still have to go through this annoying slog to get to the enemy. Like, moving 1 square a piece. I wish I had rolled the skills that let you reduce the force movement cost to 1. Because that would be immensely helpful. Because there's a lot of dense force in this map, but it's just not it's just not happening. I didn't roll it, so I can't use it. Alright, so I don't think that missile is actually going to be important in any way, so first things first, move forward and dive. And I guess send the cruisers forward as well. Yeah, all of those tiles are able to be attacked, so what I should do is probably just leave the copters like so. Fire at this missile. Oh, that was lucky. It got blown up. But you've also got to be wary of the enemy's power meter, so maybe that's actually bad luck. It's not that big a difference. Alright, so this is what I'll go with. It'll let me capture the cities and get an APC over to that first silo, because that's a very easy silo to take. Blue team... Blue can't really do anything right now. I guess I'm gonna load a mech into the APC, because that's better. And at least get the rocket moving forward a little bit. But at the end of this turn is when the Fog of War kicks in. The B-copters are not moving forward. For some reason, on a previous attempt, they actually attacked the cruisers, which doesn't really make much sense, but I suppose they felt that any sort of damage was worth whatever counterattack damage they would take. Alright, so now the fog is up. And now it's time to... I have a feeling that the sub is going to dive in the same location that it did before, so on the off chance that happens, let's put the sub... Where did it dive last time? Was it aligned with the comm tower or the port? I think it was the port, so we'll see what happens. There we go. Couple of tanks for HQ defense, because you kind of need that. And now the blue team can actually set up for the turn where they will actually start attacking things. So, just get everyone forward. I get the feeling those vision skills are going to come in way handy. Because normally you wouldn't be able to see, like, anything at all. The rain reduces your vision. Alright, what are they going to do? Depends on what the Navy decides to do. And I was right. They wasted all of their turns before they were able to actually reveal anything, so that went actually pretty well. However, by attacking the enemy here, I actually don't think I can attack the sub without moving the sub out of the way, thereby removing it from my vision. Or I could just take the copter and do this first, so that solves that problem. You know, the problem is Navy units are still, well, funds don't matter to the power meters, but this is still going to fill up their meter quite a lot. You can see that Drake's already ready for a regular power. I suppose that's good for me too, because I'll be getting Sonia's power very quickly, then I can switch to Sammy and start building her up. So this did destroy a good chunk of the enemy forces, and they're not exactly ready for a power quite yet. Or a dual strike at least. So let's switch to Sammy so that her power starts building up. I completely forgot to finish capturing on this side. Oops. Wow, that was dumb. I didn't even use the silo either. Wow, I'm off my game. Actually, you know what? I think that's fine. That could actually work out much better for me. So I'm going to stay hidden in the forest with blue. And then on the next turn, which is probably when they're going to be ready for their dual strike, that's when I'll start actually attacking. Because they're already pretty full, and this next turn could fill them up completely. Please don't fill them up completely. Jugger still has to fill up his meter, so this probably won't be too bad. Unless Drake decides to drop a super right away. Nope, he's switching to Jugger. Okay, that's cool. And that's good. This might actually be better. So we can move up here. Get rid of the battleship. That's still quite a lot of damage to the cruiser from the battleship, even though it was a Sammy battleship attacking something on a port. Alright, so odds are Sonya is going to be ready for a dual strike on the next turn. So on this turn, what we need to do is destroy as many enemy units as possible. I'm going to use the silo here to weaken the Neotank and the other units. And passing on building anything actually does make it possible for me to build some units close to the enemy up here. Alright, switch to Sonya. And we should be able to land units into the forests. I just hope I have enough vision range to... Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so dropping the Neotank here is going to be the thing to do. Trouble is, if there's a unit on the HQ, I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of it. So I guess I could use Nell for that, maybe. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'll try and take Nell's... Oh, there's not only a mech there, there's also an Uzium going over the mountains. Interesting. I could at least try to get around it, I guess. No, there's not going to be any way to get around it. Alright, so time to take out as many enemy units down here as I can. Alright, I'm sure I can think of something. I'm not completely done for quite yet. Sure is a lot of damage I'm doing over here, though. I guess if Nell gets her infantry out of the way of the Uzium, then it could be possible to capture the airport and then do something with that. Of course, the battleship is probably... like, it's got a lot of possible targets. So I'm going to switch to Jess here, because that's going to fill Jess's meter, and I probably want to get all of my fuel back after this dual strike eats up a good chunk of it. Jugger's quotes are still nice. The dialogue on normal mode actually implies that Jugger is not happy to be fighting with a Drake clone, and I don't really see why that is, because it's very useful for him here. Okay, so there goes his cruiser. Oh yeah, and the Uzium is going to be able to move twice, so yeah, I've lost most of the infantry for blue team already. I forgot that the Uzium tends to go over the mountain. Alright then. Let's see what we're up against. We can move up here and then drop our infantry into the woods. Nobody can see them quite yet. And if these woods are also empty, then that should be okay. Like, maybe take another turn to get closer so that we can actually see the enemy. Oh, I definitely don't want the enemy to capture a comm tower at this stage. Quite a lot of forces coming through to attack the red team, right? basically just have to retreat. I don't even have any money to buy anything. Alright, so go here, get rid of this thing. There's a rocket there, might as well get rid of it. The enemy is probably going to start capturing the airport, so gotta be ready for that too. Alright, let's hope they don't discover the Neo tank. Like, can they even see the lander? It's possible they could. And if they can see the lander, they might go after it, and they'll probably discover the Neo tank along the way. But they're ending their turn now, so that has not happened. Oh, the sub actually ran out of fuel. That was expected. Right, so if there is a unit on the HQ here, how are we going to be able to see it? Let's see here. Can I see how much vision these guys have? Okay, the vision of the infantry now is 2. So, 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3... I think I have to get closer first. So let's do this. And hide the lander while I'm at it. How many enemies are there? There's like 30 when the map starts, but there's only 25 now. Okay. Oh, hi, anti-air. Didn't expect it to be there. And just staying alive at this point. I'm basically setting up for a victory march capture. Glad I rolled those 2. Maybe it was better to roll them on the red team instead of the blue team, because in order to do the 2-day strategy, you need very specific skills on the blue team. Maybe that was fortunate. Oh, I've blocked the silo. Great job. Well, I would love to capture the airport, but I think that the battleship is going to get in my way, so it might take a little bit longer if I want to do that. I've got a dual strike coming up for blue, though. But it looks like I might be able to end the map right now if it goes well. So, all or nothing, time for the tag break. You can't hide from Sonya, that's for certain. And this is also a tag break with a unique name, Girl Power. I don't know why, I guess it's because Sonya and Sammy are the, they were the only 2 females in the original Advance Wars aside from Nell. Okay, so there's actually nothing on the HQ this time. The first time I tried this, I actually, I launched a silo at the HQ, and I think that caused the enemy to want to stay on the HQ in order to repair. So since there's nothing on the HQ now, I can just do a victory march on it. So the plan did work. The Neo tank was basically insurance. Very low score, though. I was not getting a good rank on that map no matter what. Alright, so that's Dark Ambition and Pincer Strike. Nobody ignored you because you were a girl, Sammy. You're the best CO in the game. At least to me, where I completed all of the War Room maps with Sammy. I guess I'm unoriginal. Like, honestly, War Room should get you to use a variety of COs, but whatever. That's Dark Ambition and Pincer Strike completed. Next up is Ring of Fire, a very annoying mission. So, I'll see you for that, everybody. Just 4 more missions to go and then the playthrough is complete. Later.